Okay, so in this video I'm going to talk about my daily routine with our 3 ducklings here. So it's morning right now, and what I typically do in the morning is I come over to their coop, I open it up, I take this heat plate out. So they're only 3 weeks old, so they might not necessarily need a supplemental heat source at this point, but at night it gets down to about 65, and I still think they might just want some warmth. So I put that in their cage at night, and aside from that, I take that out, and typically in the morning their coop is very wet, especially over here. So I take both of these watering containers out, I clean them out, hose them out, and then fill them back up and put them back in, so now they're all fresh. I take their food bowl out and I clean it out and then fill it with fresh food. And then I go through all of this litter here and I toss it with this grilling implement. And I get really deep down into it to just kind of toss it, bring some air into it. And then I throw some new litter on top. So that's kind of my morning, and then I spend about 30 minutes, maybe an hour out here with them before I start work. So they usually go into their pool. They really like their pool. But yeah, they kind of just hang out here with me. I don't trust them to be out here alone quite yet, because I think that they're still big enough to get eaten by hawks during the day if I wasn't out here. We back up to like a farm field, so until they're full grown, I think I'm only gonna let them free range while they're with me. So yeah, like I mentioned, I spend maybe an hour out here in the morning with them and just kind of sit on my phone and watch them, enjoy their company, give them mealworms, and then I have to corral them back in my coop, which I have a short of on my channel. It can be quite a comedic experience, because usually I can get them most of the way to the coop by giving them mealworms, and then they don't want to make the final cross into the threshold of the coop, so I end up having to just herd them by making myself really big with my arms. Once they're back in the coop, I keep them in there usually from like probably 9 a.m. through 4 or 5 p.m. And they have fresh water and fresh food, and I sometimes come out during my lunch break and dump some of their water and just fill it with fresh water, give them some mealworms as a treat. But they often just nap a lot during the day and maybe swim around in their tiny cooking pan pool. And then around 5, I'll come out and I will let them out, and then they will free range for probably 3 hours, 3.5 hours, till it gets dusk at around 8:30 at this point in the summer. So they get quite a bit of free ranging, probably like 3 hours minimum a day if you add up the morning and the evening, probably 4. But like I said, they're still ducklings, so I can't really keep them out here and let them free range during the day without me. So this is probably the best they're gonna get until I believe they're old enough. While they're free ranging in the evening, I take their food and water out, and I do the same thing I did in the morning. I just dump all their water, refill it with fresh water, dump any nasty food, refill it with fresh food. I toss their deep litter, and then once dusk hits, I once again corral them back in, and I usually put the heat plate in, although I'm getting close to where I probably will not need that.